So this sort of looks like a training video for for cops.
I'm actually caretaker, okay? I'm actually caretaker.
I'm the caretaker. I'm the fucking caretaker. Oh yeah, and you know what? You have a nice wardrobe. I mean, what were you doing? You're just inspecting the underside of that fucking blanket.
Y'all better start. Man, listen. I'm gonna start shooting. I see your foot. Come on, man. Get out of here. I got a gun on you. So what? I do too. On two of you.
He's got a gun on two of them. So now this is what I'm saying. Cops go into the craziest
You're not supposed to be in here, man. No.
You're not supposed to be in here. I'm not.
Okay, like
they
these,
decorate this fucking
like
living
these
here.
clothes.
So somebody's decorating this apartment for him. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Coming to you with our, this is CLR, with Criminal Lawyer Reacts. We react to all kinds of stuff, and Michael Rivers, your content genius, is behind the camera as we speak. And I know if I make him laugh, we do a good job. Today, we are reacting to when squatters think they have the right to live anywhere they please. But before we get to that, guess what? This is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you have a piece of property, and your grandma thinks she can just go anywhere she wants, and she flops there because it's a trap house. Well, you got to get those people out of there. And so you have a lawyer draft up some documents like eviction papers, and then you e-sign them because it's just easier to e-sign them than to actually have to go to the office. You download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, and before you know it, you've signed it. And now you've got a legal document to get these people, like my grandma, who likes to squat everywhere she goes, out of your place. Because eSign.com, very effective way to remotely do business. I use it all the time in my practice for all kinds of different documents. It's just quick and easy. E-sign. If it's not e-sign, no one signs. All right, before we get to this, I want to just talk to the fans out there. We have so many subscribers, so many people that are just flipping awesome, and every once in a while, you guys send me stuff, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So this woman, Janice, I won't give you her last name, she just sends me a note. She's from Seattle, Washington. She says, I wanted you to know how much I enjoy your podcast. I am nearing 80 years old, and you simply make my day with your interesting cases and knowledge thereof to impart to your viewers. Most importantly, you crack me up with your sense of humor. I always said, if you can't laugh at rough situation, then you've truly lost it. I can relate because at times there are just no words, only laughter. So thank you for your insight to helping many people and your encouragement by humor to watch your show. I look forward to many more. Well, Janice, I save these things, and I save them because they're so nice. And I put them up. They're just reminders of why we do this. We entertain and we and try to educate a little bit, and it's father-son project, and we like to have fun. All right, so that's Janice. And then Rita from Finland, I think Helsinki or somewhere over there, she sends me a drawing, and I'll take a look at this. This is a drawing her son made, clearly off just before I went on my Alaska adventure. But isn't that the sweetest thing? So just so you know, if you guys ever send anything, I don't do that. I save everything, and, I got some stuff that people have given me, and it's just an expression of your appreciation, and let me just tell you, we appreciate you guys as well. Just so amazing. Just amazing. All right, so today let's get to this, and this is the channel is the Blue Line Cam. So we're reacting to the Blue Line Cam footage. So here we go.
On March 12, 2023, officers received a call from the owner of an apartment complex. According to him, there are multiple drug addicts and squatters occupying his home and are refusing to leave.
Now let's talk about that. Let's say you have a piece of rental property or your own property, and there's somebody else in there. This is absolutely the right thing to do. Call the cops. Do not take matters into your own hand, because let's say you go in there with a gun. Let's say you have a physical altercation, and all of a sudden the guy fucking dies. And, and if it's a rental property, you don't have the same rights as in your own home. Things are just different depending upon the dwelling. There is the castle doctrine, but better to use the cops to get somebody out than do it yourself.
One of them even pulled a gun on the owner when confronted to vacate the building.
You can come, Rango.
Yeah.
It's at Salem Baptist.
What is it?
It's an assault, but it's a possible DV.
Okay.
What's up, dude?
Hey, buddy. It was just somebody over here I know in the back, and I've been sitting out the street when I called them waiting. How y'all doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
This is your,
Yeah, I got a gun license.
Okay, you're fine.
Yeah, I bought this property.
Dude, if you didn't have a gun out here, bro,
I know.
If you didn't have a gun out here, what does that say about the high class area that your rental property is in? So the cop is expecting to be carrying.
Fucking tripping, right?
The amount of people like, I don't carry a gun. Or I don't come out here without a
The
gun.
dude pulled the gun out on me the other day.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah, like, man, I bought this place. Ain't nobody never messed with it. I was fixing it up, you know, I'm taking my time trying to bring it back to life, working, coming when I can get some free time. And they,
Now, think about that. If he's got a regular day job and then he's trying to rehab this on his own, that's a lot of work, especially if it's a multi-family dwelling.
ain't nobody never messed with it. And then it was a lot of people in here, so I just was some people in the back.
How long have you owned this spot?
I've been on this for years.
Really?
Yeah, for years.
Anyone ever lived here, like, officially?
No. Like, they boarded it up on the inside. Wow.
From the inside?
Yeah.
Like the squatters?
Yeah, somebody else.
Definitely need some rehabbing for this place. And, people who do drugs, people who, I came in, I keep my car in a parking ramp. I have like a little car that I keep in there all year long. And so I'm not checking on that car every day. All of a sudden I come in and there's some guy's living in my fucking car. I come in and I'm like, what the hell are you doing in my car? And it just stinks to high heaven, and there's a meth pipe in there, and it's like, fucking A, get the hell out of here. And then he hobbles, on one leg, basically. It's like, fuck.
Boarded up from the inside.
Hey, what are you planning on doing with this place long term?
I was trying to. You see that? See that?
Yeah. What are you trying to
No, I was just saying, like, they had.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably got it nailed shut. Someone's got it nailed shut or something.
Yeah, I gotta go.
So they've basically figured out how to lock it from the inside. And I don't know if they screwed it shut or whatever they did, but so that's nobody can get in there.
A different way. No, what I was planning on doing with it, I bought it, was fixing it. I put a lot into this place. Yeah. Like a lot. I've had it nice. Like, they came in here and stole my cabinets, all of the stuff I was going to other apartment, like.
And if there's not a lot of activity at a place, it's difficult to keep something nice because people will eventually figure out there's nobody there, and then they squat, or they steal the stuff that's in there. Now, if you go into a dwelling that you're not legally entitled to go into, and you go in there with the intention to commit a crime, that essentially is what burglary is.
I put a lot of money into this. Yeah. Put new roof on here. I just was trying to wait till they fix the area,
Yeah.
You gotta go first.
Yeah.
Right now, circle, sorry.
Hey, you going first because you have the guns.
Dayton police! Inside, make yourself known.
Well, none of this stuff.
Dayton police!
So it sort of looks like a training video for for cops. All of a sudden you see somebody come around the corner either with a sandwich or a gun, and you can't tell which. So you have to decide whether you're going to blow them away or not.
How old is it going?
It's 1928.
28.
There's like the I might open that. And there's another one.
This is a multi-family dwelling, so it's really, unless you're doing this stuff full time, and he's had it for 3 years, it's too much work for one person. And think about it as a cop when you're going through this place. You don't. A gun has already been pulled on him by somebody coming out of there once, so you don't know what you're gonna find. And it is a shitty place that he's rehabbing.
Goes all the way. Is this the front door, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, see what they did?
This is bolted shut.
They tried to lock it down. They tried to lock it.
So this place is officially vacant, though, right?
Yeah,
It's got no one like paying to live here.
no one paying no live for it.
Dayton police.
Yeah. Yes. That's crazy. That
You can smell the cigarettes that they're smoking.
Somebody, there's cars out there.
Hey, police, you're in here, tell me.
Other response of a teenager invites the mother and stepmother got to a physical fight. They're both still on scene. All disconnected. 323 clear.
So I mean, the units themselves actually, looks like they don't look terrible. I mean, obviously the front and some of the other stuff that we saw, looks pretty hagged out. But you can't just go into somebody's property that you don't have a right to and just squat there and try to acquire it by adverse possession. That's an old legal term that means if you possess something and it's open and notorious, after about 7 years it becomes yours. Doesn't really happen like that.
Did you put this stuff in here?
I did not all of this stuff. I came back. I'm gonna show you how I had it.
So is this your stuff or no?
No, the furniture, that table, that was my stuff.
Put all this other crap on here.
Man, no.
Like this clothes and shit?
No, ain't not. Man, I had this place. This is, just to let you know, I've been having this for a while. That might be living here. Yeah, I know.
Think of that. He owns the place, and people are just taking advantage of his shit.
When I came the other day, that's when I found out that they've been all through my place.
What about these like guitars and stuff?
Man, I came here. It was about 20 people in this building.
20 people in this building. 20 people just fucking moved into his place. Well, perhaps you should probably pay a little more attention to your shit. I mean, if you own a building like that and you're not checking on it regularly or having a service do it or having some sort of security, what's going to happen? This is going to happen.
I'm surprised that these tools, are these your tools?
No, them ain't my tools.
So somebody working, it's a working guy living in here.
There ain't nobody.
You think it's a working man that's working there? I don't think so. It's what happens is they steal tools. You go to like Home Depot or they steal them from job sites or whatever. But they're high ticket items and then they go pawn.
Supposed to be in here. Like, this is like a bad dream for me. I fixed all of this up.
Did you put this
No,
like,
I ain't put none
like
of that.
That's what
I'm saying. Somebody else, I'm like,
Okay, like
they
these-
decorate this like a
like
living
these
here.
clothes.
So somebody's decorating this apartment for him.
Okay, I've seen that
Yeah.
before, but to
But
do
they
this,
decorate it, you know,
yeah.
like Cause I love you, but some motherfuckers, oh my God, they decorate this shit like, I ain't.
Nothing in here. Like, this shit is like a nightmare for me. Like, I put all my money into this place. Bathroom, I fixed all of this stuff up.
Yeah.
So let's say he wanted to get whoever's doing this. We had a case like this in Minnesota. Not quite like this, but... and let's say he turned off all the lights. And let's say he just sat in one of the chairs and waited for them to come home. And then blew their ass away. That would be murder. Premeditated murder. We had a situation in Minnesota a while back where this old guy, his house kept getting broken into over and over and over again. And he knew kind of who it was, but he wasn't sure. So he parked his car down the street to make it look like he wasn't home. Then these two kids hagged out on meth, break into his house, and he's waiting at the bottom of the stairs. He sees some legs coming down. Boom, boom. He shoots him. And he lands at the bottom. Boom, shoots him again. Then she comes in. boom, boom, same thing, and then boom, and he called it a good finishing shot. That's 100% cold-blooded, first-degree murder. You can't do shit like that. And guess what he got? You know, well, aside from having a shitty lawyer, but he got murder one, and he got life without parole, and he paid him $300,000 for whatever.
This
Was
house-
it a bunch of males,
It was
females?
males, white man. The white man pulled the gun out.
That's why he said he's calling y'all.
Yo,
'cause you know
yeah, he pulled the
So the better course is getting the cops involved, because doing this on your own, guess what? You're trading your life for theirs.
gun out, but you know they like this stuff. Like for me, like that's so much trauma. Like I carry a gun. You know what I mean? He like get the fuck off of this property. I said this is my property. Like the people next door know I own this. I worked on all of this.
Do you know his name or anything?
No, I got a picture of him.
come in through the window.
No, they were just.
Yeah, right, they ain't just say for themselves. That's what they was doing. They keeping it safe for themselves. So no other horror coming in.
Think of that. You're going down your hallway of your place, and some guy's telling you to get out of your own property.
Because you're not going on.
He did fix this room up.
In this way. And you can't come out. Because I can't, you don't get
Miss Lady,
I'm trying to find some ID or something.
this room
What are you supposed to use that torch for?
wasn't even just like this a couple days ago. They ain't had this on the wall. None of that.
What about these shoes?
The shoes was in here. There was some shoes in here.
Did you put these bed sheets
No,
in?
I ain't had no beds in here. When I just came here the other day, it wasn't
Like
no.
you didn't even put the bed.
I mean, think about it. They fucking moved in. You know, they got a TV, they got their bed, they got their torch, whatever the fuck they use that for. But they moved in. How does that even fucking happen? Hey, you know what? Step one underwear are high performance underwear. Now, when you watch this video, the guy who is getting arrested and threatening the cops, notice he wasn't wearing step ones. Okay? I guarantee if the cops are wearing step ones, they wear them with the comfort and the confidence that comes with them. Guess what? It's made from a viscose material, made from organic bamboo, so you don't sweat. It also has a lycra panel that makes it so you don't chafe. And it's got this package container that just holds you nice and tight. Well, you almost don't even know you're wearing them. They're super high performance, and guess what? Just for my audience only, if you guys order some of these, and I suggest you do, any amount of these right now, you get 25% off. At checkout, you put in Bruce Rivers, and you will get a discount code for 25% off. Now, it's a no-risk proposition to you because guess what? After 30 days, within 30 days, if you don't like them, you can return them. But that isn't going to happen. So step one, get some.
You didn't even put the bed frame in.
No, it wasn't.
So someone carried all this
Yes.
heavy.
Yes.
And do you live like in Columbus? Like you're saying?
Yeah, I live in Columbus, so I've been working and I ain't been able to come down here. But I came down here to pay my taxes on Thursday, and I came by to ride by, and I see people bringing bags, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I guess when you do drugs, you don't eat.
This would just piss me off because guess what? You not only do you have to rehab the place, now you got to get rid of all their shit. You talk about a lot of work, and if a guy pulled a gun on you once, he's gonna pull a gun on you again. The other thing that's a big deal here is if they find any drugs. So if their cops were ever to come and it's his place and they find drugs, would he have possession of it because it's his place? No, probably not. Because he's got to know they're there, and he has to have access. And he didn't have access to the place while they're doing this. Look at all the random shit that they have, are probably all stolen. Because guess what? If you are of the ilk where you're going to move into someplace that you're going to steal basically rent, Aren't you going to be doing that with the rest of your shit, probably?
I'm right here. I can't get out that other door.
That's why I said I try to get the back one back here. I got to get a different hacksaw. But I think they just bolted him up so nobody else can come in.
Yeah, that's what I think too. But is that your cousin? He's nervous.
Yeah,
I get it. This, I haven't gone through this one yet.
Because there's a fucking dog back here.
I heard a dog bark. Where?
Back here. I don't want you to go before me.
Guess what cops are afraid of almost just as much as people? Just like the mailman, dogs. They don't really have any compunction about putting a fucking round of lead into your dog if your dog's going to pose a threat.
Is it
Call
just
your
a dog?
It's a puppy.
It's a puppy?
Yeah, I can tell it's a puppy. I got dogs.
Uh-oh, the music. You know something's going to happen.
If you back her, you gotta get out of here.
Hey, Ben, there's a dog in here.
Looks like they ordered some pizza, too. Fuck.
Come to the top apartment. Dang, police! If you're inside, make yourself known!
And here we are, back to the training video.
There's someone in here. Dang, police! If you're inside, make yourself known! Okay. Alright, get your dog. Okay. Then we go.
All right, so somebody's in the bed and they can't get up.
Alright. It's alright. Alright, it's okay, pup. Call your dog.
Take that dog and get control of that dog, or I'm gonna get rid of that dog.
Alright, it's alright. You're not in trouble. It's a pit bull. No, okay.
You know, when it comes to poverty and drugs, people, will do just about anything to avoid both, right? Poverty, people steal, and just because, people are poor doesn't mean that they're criminal necessarily. But poverty is a cause of a lot of criminal behavior. But drugs also really can spur criminal behavior. The stealing, the violence, and just the overall debilitating nature of drugs generally.
Alright. Is there anyone else inside? No.
So why can't she walk?
You're not supposed to be in here, man. No.
You're not supposed to be in here. I'm not. How does she think that she has the right to be there?
Now, that lock, they locked her in here.
Yeah.
So that means some people might be more locked in here.
Is that door open?
She's literally locked in here.
Are you okay, ma'am? Yeah. Alright. Are you sick?
No, I just can't walk.
Why can't you walk?
I have spinal meningitis on my spinal cord.
Okay.
Well, she has spinal meningitis. That's why she says she can't walk.
Spinal cord.
Okay.
How many other people stay here?
Me and my ex-girlfriend.
Alright.
Are there other people in these other rooms?
She doesn't know.
I don't know, I was asleep. It's the uniforms, I think.
Yeah, and but he can tell you're scared.
Just trying to slip this around her neck. Hi, puppy. It's okay.
Oh my god.
It's okay. She'll be alright. Hi, puppy.
Good pup. Good girl. What's her name?
Champagne.
Champagne. Good girl, Champagne. Good girl. Good girl. It's okay, honey. Good girl.
Have you been staying anywhere else?
I find it so amazing. Everybody is able to get a really nice TV even though they're living in a squatting condition.
Where else besides here?
No.
How long have you been staying here?
Like, about a month.
About a month?
About a month.
Who do you live with?
My ex-girlfriend.
Your girlfriend? How's champagne?
She's friendly. You wanna go for a walk? You wanna go for a walk?
Not here. Nobody's here.
No, not that we found so far.
So you've been staying there a month, and you're not paying any rent. You're not working. And you got a nice little dog there that who knows how much the dog's being fed or cared for. But you're probably comfortable, and all of a sudden, guess what? You got to fucking go, and where are you going to go? This is what happens with homeless people, So now all of a sudden, this person is going to be homeless because the place that they were staying is no longer available.
What's your name?
How do you...
Who took care of you last? Tessa. When did that happen? When did she take care of you?
Last night.
Last night. I don't know if there's a way. Here, let me see if there's a way. Dang police! Should we just attempt to take it? I don't know if anyone else is in here.
See, cops have kind of a shitty job, think about it. Now you got to go rouse these, squatters out of this place, and you don't know what you're going to find.
Can't kick it. I don't have him unscrew that thing. We gotta get her out of here somehow, though.
There gotta be somebody, because how would it be locked?
Dayton Police!
That sounds like Scott.
Yeah, I get Scotty.
There gotta be somebody, how would it be locked?
Yeah.
What were you guys on?
I smell incense.
Now, I'm not necessarily a neat freak, but fuck. I mean, if you're going to squat, can't you squat neatly? Jesus Christ. Make your bed, tidy up all your stolen shit, and just make sure things are just nice and neat. What's wrong with that?
How do they even have it secured?
Hey, man. Fire's gonna need to get in that front door.
Under there?
Oh my god, yes, there's one under there.
Come on, man. Get out of here. I got a gun on you. So what? I do too. On two of you.
He's got a gun on two of them. So now this is what I'm saying. Cops go into the craziest shit. They're not supposed to be there, and this guy's going to defend himself with a fucking gun in front of these cops? How stupid is that? It's a zero-sum game for this guy.
I better get out of here. Leave.
And, okay, let's just stop right there. He's trespassing, for sure, right? Of course. Burglary, probably, too. And now we have probably assault with a deadly weapon against police officers. So he went from, just being a poor little innocent person, hanging out, doing drugs or whatever, to now he's fucking full on with the cops. That's major prison time.
Y'all better get out of here, man.
No, not
I'm
that.
gonna fucking kill myself. Y'all better get out of here. Yeah, pull it out.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands.
I'm not showing you my hands. Get out of here.
Show me your hands.
Go!
Do it now!
Get out of here.
Do it now!
I'm gonna tell you 5 more times, and I'm gonna start shooting. Y'all better get
I'm going to tell you 5 more times, and then I'm going to start shooting. What do you do in that situation? There's a what they call a force continuum that the cops use. How do you de-escalate a situation? You use words, and there's a whole force continuum up until deadly force. So everything from using your hands to using your voice, using your hands, using your billy club, using non-lethal to lethal. So it's a whole gradation of force. And this guy went from fucking words to use a deadly force like that. And it's not a position cops love to be in. Some cops, I mean, are total dickheads. But generally speaking, cops do not like to be in a position where they got to use deadly force. Taking somebody else's life, no matter whether you're a cop or not, is a heavy, heavy-handed thing. And it fucks with your brain. So there's two things at play here. Number one, the cops, want to make sure that he doesn't take his own life because they want to protect him. But they also want to make sure that fucker doesn't take their lives either.
Where's he at?
He's under the bed. He's under the bed. I can't see him.
I see you right there. I'm gonna start shooting.
No!
To what end is this kind of shit? Honestly.
Y'all better start. Man, listen. I'm gonna start shooting. I see your foot.
You see his hands?
No.
It's jail.
I'm gonna tell you one more time.
Hands! Shoot your hands, take police!
I'm gonna tell you one more time, and I'm coming up over there. Y'all better go.
I can't see shit.
Y'all better go. 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm gonna tell you one more time.
Jeff,
Y'all better go.
can you see his hands?
No. Go.
Now let's say the guy doesn't have a gun. Let's just say for the sake of... Now, I haven't seen this, so I don't know how this ends. So you and I are kind of watching this together, right? But let's say he doesn't have a gun. Well, is there a crime? Yes, there is. It's terroristic threats or threats of violence. And you do it against a cop, that's even worse.
Can you tell me what get under the bed? He's under the bed.
And what an awkward situation to be in. They can't see him. They can't see his fucking hands. Is he going to fire up through the mattress? Because a bullet would go right through that and could go right in. And hopefully they're wearing vests. But what a really messed up situation for these guys.
We need to take someone.
I quit.
Takes his ass.
You know that sound? That's the sound of muscle seizing up.
You stupid motherfucker!
Get calm down. Okay, get him out. Back out of here now.
Put your hands behind your back. Don't do it.
Now, a lot of times I'm on the side of the person getting arrested because sometimes cops can get heavy-handed. But guess what? This fucker deserves everything he's getting. I mean, he's under the bed. He's threatening the cops with a gun. And they're trying to get him to just come out because he doesn't belong there. I've never seen anybody so wrong in my life.
I'll do it again.
Do not tuck that hand down. Do not tuck that hand down. Hands behind your back now. Hang on. Hang on. Put your hands behind your back.
Stop it. Put your hands behind your back. I said do it now.
Hey, Luke, you're going back. Pull that off of him.
There's no gun.
I hate the sound of a woman screaming. I don't know what it is. It's like it just screams tragedy or something bad is happening.
Don't fucking say that shit. Put your hands behind your back.
He put his hands behind his back.
Did he say he didn't have a gun?
I got you. Give me that.
There's no gun. The fucker didn't even have a gun. What a dumb shit. I am going to shoot you or I'm going to shoot myself. What the fuck? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? All for what? Because and especially if you think about what the cops knew before they went in there, some guy pulled a gun on the property owner before that. So they're already, their dander is up that there may be a firearm. And now he doesn't have a weapon, but he threatened them with a weapon? Fuck.
Put your hands
Don't fucking say that shit. Put your hands behind your back.
He put his hands behind his back.
They're on his head.
Put him. Yep, help him. Right there, please. I got you.
Sort of kind of tough to move around with a bed frame on you and another 200-pound officer sitting on top of you. Well, let's just say I probably won't be hiring this guy anytime soon as an associate here at the Rivers Law Firm.
Hang on right now.
Okay. You dropped a 99.
Yep. Now we are.
So we get security. Okay.
I took a ride on that probe, man. All right.
322 dispatch.
Cancel not yet.
Ah, dude.
I'm not sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's fine.
That's just disgusting. I mean, how could people live? You know, people do live like that. You know, and that's mild compared to some shitty situations. When I was driving an ambulance back in the day, you know, we'd see all kinds of squalor that people lived in, and it's just sad.
Yeah, that's Maddie's, please. All right. Please, if you want to pick this up and go right off of him.
I need to
Watch
get
out,
off.
Madeline. Yeah,
Hang on, let me, my stuff's, let me rip it.
If you don't have a gun, the worst thing you can do is threaten somebody with a gun.
That's all good. Yeah, well, watch it.
You okay, Jeff? Yeah. All right.
Crawl this way. Crawl this way.
Thank you.
On your knees. There you go. Hold him right here.
And he's a little fella with a big mouth.
I'm alright.
Everyone okay?
He's lucky to be alive right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's absolutely right in that statement. He's lucky to be fucking alive. Jesus Christ, I got a gun. Really? Well, so do we. I mean, you know, the inability for people to see the end game on some of these things just astounds me. But if it weren't for that lack of insight, I wouldn't have a job.
You good?
I'm good, yeah.
Does he need anything?
He's
He's got all kinds of injuries, so we'll check you downstairs. Okay. He can be checked out downstairs. But I'm still checking quick for a gun bucket. Well, what you said you did. Sort your legs. Oh, man, you're not grabbing like
Yeah, you do. When you say you got a gun, you're going to start shooting at us. You absolutely do.
Check his right pocket.
That's what we're doing.
I know what I'm saying. You already checked me. There's a gun over here. I don't know if it's fake or not behind this
You know, I do like the Christmas lights, though. That's a nice touch.
thing. I think it's a BB gun.
What do you guys need? Nothing right now.
Hang on, let me tighten this.
Did you see the lady in there?
Yeah.
She can't walk. She's not supposed to be here.
I don't even know if we have this whole building clear.
Yeah.
We don't yet.
So please, I don't know.
Josh, you can push the buzz on. I got a pipe in there.
And the way they had themselves barricaded in there, they knew they weren't supposed to be there. And they were prepared for conflict.
So that lady is not supposed to be here.
Yeah. No one's supposed to be
No one's supposed to
Besides
be
the
here.
owner who's got that hoodie on, who dreads, him and his
He's
cousin.
a large black male. The two black males. But that lady, she's not supposed to be here. No one's supposed to be here. Yeah, I already used my bag too.
Can I get my sandals right there?
No, not the way you act with officers.
I can't get my sandals.
And so the next thing you do is you search this place, because I guarantee you they're going to find drugs. Or you would think they would anyway. And do they need a warrant? No, they don't, because it's not their place. These people do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in anything. So the owner has already given them permission to go through the place to clear this place out. So they have absolute right to search everything. And if they find any drugs, you know, then they're on the hook.
Hey, Carl, can you watch him come through?
But what a stressful time for those cops. Because they don't know exactly what the fuck's going to happen. They don't know if some lead's going to be flying their way or not. And, you know, they handled it the best they could. And I think that they took this guy into custody. He's fine. They're fine. Thank God.
Needles fucking everywhere.
Needles everywhere.
Show me your fucking hands right now! Right now!
I guess there was somebody hiding in the closet. Oh, fuck. You know, you just can't make this shit up. But this is drugs. You know, people, they just, anything for the drugs.
I'm actually caretaker, okay? I'm actually caretaker.
I'm the caretaker. I'm the fucking caretaker. Oh, yeah. And you know what? You have a nice wardrobe. I mean, what were you doing? You're just inspecting the underside of that fucking blanket. Oh, my God. I'm the fucking caretaker.
I'm not scared. I'm scared. I'm just scared. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just scared.
Care soda.
I am taking.
Well, most caretakers generally are scared, you know, like this. And they usually hide in a closet under a blanket.
That's why I'm here.
Damn it.
That's why I'm here. I'm not doing nothing.
No, you're doing fucking drugs.
No, I'm not doing drugs.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing drugs. I swear to God.
No, I just left my supermodel job, and, you know, I just was coming by to pick up a few things.
I'm clean. I'm recovering.
So you're staying in an opium den.
No.
So you're saying I have a chance. This is what you call a catch.
No, it's not. The guy next door was paying, said he was working it off, letting me work it off for rent.
How do you suppose you're going to work it off for rent? What are you going to do working it off? Typically, it's probably not the kind of work you're thinking of.
Sorry. I'm really not. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not resisting that guy.
But you're hiding. Get up! Get up!
I'm scared of the guy.
And think about the cops' frame of reference at this point. They just had a guy threaten them with a gun that didn't exist, and it was just a really tense situation. All of a sudden, some fucker is in the closet, is hiding underneath the caretaker, evidently. And how do we know she doesn't have a gun? I mean, it scares the shit out of these cops.
And you're staying with him. You're going downstairs. We're all scared, aren't we?
I ain't even looked over here yet.
Please, nothing. Get in the car. Ashley, please tell them I'm... No, don't tell anybody anything. Walk outside. I'm coming here. I swear to God.
Multiple people on scene near them.
No, absolutely not. We are not talking about that.
Listen, I'm
You know what? Do you think it was a good idea for this guy to call the cops and have them handle this?
trying to fight you guys or nothing. I'm not resisting.
Listen, we're going to the car. We're not doing you any favors. We're going to the car.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Ashley's caretaking over.
In the room is in.
Yes.
Upstairs and work your way down. I'm just gonna fire it.
Because I'm scared.
Now, if you were worried about a place to sleep and something to eat, well, you won't have to worry about that because now the county will provide that for you.
Yeah, but she's sassy. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not trying to resist. I'm not trying to cause any problems. I really am Ashley's caretaker. I'm just scared.
Did she just say she was the caretaker?
Yeah, I understand you're scared, but do you understand how scared we are? This man owns this place, and word on the street, he asked you to leave the other day, and you came back.
Because the other guy that we rent from told us that he didn't.
And he's a liar. And no, that's not even a story because you're already instructed to leave.
I was out here the other day when someone pointed a gun at me.
So let's say the guy under the bed said, you know, I own this place and you're going to be the caretaker, and you know, and so now she thinks she's the fucking caretaker. Does that seem reasonable? No, it probably doesn't. And sometimes even if you were told something and you could rely on the fact that you were told it, but it really was not believable, it's not a defense.
Yes, we have. It's clear. Do you keep anything in your bra? Money, phone, cards, anything like that? We don't know. You obviously weren't taking very good care of her.
Yeah, I was trying to get us out of here. I realized we didn't have nowhere to go. Her mom left her.
There's a homeless shelter.
All 3 suspects were arrested and brought to the station to be processed. The homeowner remained unharmed and was able to take back full control of his home.
What a dramatic, when we started this video, I looked at Michael and I said, a property dispute seems kind of boring. But it really was not boring, was it? I mean, it was interesting. But thank God he did that, because that is the way you handle things. You don't take the matters into your own hands. You don't go to your neighbor's house and beat the shit out of him because he got some grass on your lawn. I mean, and from his yard to your yard. You don't settle disputes like that. And the reason you don't is because he could wind up shooting one of these guys. So let's say he went in there, and the other guy said, "I got a gun," and he shoots him. Well, guess what? And he kills him. And even if he didn't have a gun, now he's got to explain himself. And he's going to explain himself to a fucking jury. Thankfully, it ended the way it did, with no loss of life and nobody really injured. But this just goes to show you the effect of drugs. People call drugs a victimless crime. It really isn't. I mean, whether it's people dying of an overdose, whether it's the drug trade itself that's inherently dangerous because of guns and violence, or whether it's bystanders, like in this case the property owner, affected by these people just moving into his fucking place. I still can't believe that they were so brazen to put up TVs and bring in furniture. It's like, oh, let's just move in. So this has been our reaction to when squatters think they can live wherever the fuck they want. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. And so if he goes to jail, where does he go to jail? Rikers Island? Probably Rikers Island. What's going to happen with Trump? Will he go to prison? I honestly can say I don't know. And just like the Hunter Biden verdict, this should have been settled, honestly. Both of those cases should have been settled. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. A little bit late in reacting to Trump's verdict, but we're going to react to the verdict on Trump anyway, just because there's some nagging questions about the supremacy clause and whether he'll actually go to jail or just what's going to happen to Trump from here on out. And then we'll kind of analyze just kind of the landscape that he's facing. I don't know how he does it, but, it would cause just about any one of us to go buckle under stress. But we are here today with our content genius, Michael Rivers, behind the camera, behind the ideas, behind everything, and behind the man who holds me up, actually. So we are reacting to Trump, but before we get to Trump, this is brought to you by eSign.com. That's one of our sponsors, and I know I talk a lot about my grandma and her being in the basement with her feet and all her different endeavors, but really, honestly, they've been a solid sponsor of CLR, and I want you to know that they're a great place if you have a legal form need. And, and all legal issues arise out of situations, right? And if you're prepared, you can avoid the courtroom and avoid a high cost of a lawyer. So go to eforms.com. If you're selling a car, get a bill of sale. If you have somebody that needs assistance in their life, get a power of attorney. If you have a business, deal with somebody, do a business agreement. If you are renting a property, get a rental agreement. Everything should be in writing. Guess why? Because if it's in writing, there's no mistaking as to what the agreement is, right? And if somebody tries to screw you over, you've got a document that says, look, here is what it is, and in documents generally don't lie. They didn't lie in Trump's case, let me tell you. eForms.com, a very excellent way to avoid the courtroom and avoid the high cost of lawyers like me. Okay, let's talk about the verdict. The jury in this case did not take a long time to render their decision. And, they had some people that were not necessarily for Trump, but not necessarily against Trump. But and just like the Hunter Biden verdict, this should have been settled. Honestly, both of those cases should have been settled. In the Hunter Biden case, there was so much evidence that he was a drug addict, and he was addicted to drugs, and was reckless, and he wrote on the form no, right? So there was just an overwhelming amount. But the Supreme Court in that case could render a decision that would be favorable to him, because the tenor of the court right now is very pro Second Amendment. Something like that possibly could happen with Trump. So now Trump's been convicted of all counts. Every election challenge they tried, they lost. The E. Jean Carroll case, they lost that miserably. Twice. And now he owes over $80 million. That's a staggering figure. He tried the New York fraud case. Lost. He tried the Trump Organization fraud case. Lost. He doesn't win. He's not a winner. He's not winning. And he didn't win this case. And in this case, he had better lawyers in this case than he had in any other case. His lawyers were top notch. But the evidence was overwhelming. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, what the fuck was he doing? He was paying off a porn star, whether or not you believe he did anything to her, at any point. Who cares? That's certainly not the issue. The issue is whether he paid her off, and whether that was to cover something up in violation of other laws. Tax law and the federal election laws. What happens now? So once somebody's convicted of a crime, they go meet with the probation officer. And what is the probation officer? The probation officer is an arm of the court. So the probation officer, and it's he had to meet with probation, and they did it by Zoom, and that's not getting special treatment. That's pretty common. I do that with in the federal system all the time. In fact, I just did it 2 weeks ago. And what you do with this is a state case, but what you do with probation is you give them your personal history, your drug history, your your family, your finances, just your criminal history, your employment history. You give them a whole big picture of who you are as a person, and that goes. Then they develop a report, and then that goes to the judge. Okay, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. Usually, probably anywhere from 20 to 50 pages, depending upon how complex the case is. Now, one of the things that they look at is acceptance of responsibility, attitude in court, and a whole bunch of other things. Well, there's no acceptance of responsibility here because he tried the case and he lost. But his attitude and remorse, and he doesn't have any remorse because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. So that's going to weigh against him. So how does that all weigh into the judge's decision? Because really, at the end of the day, what is the judge deciding? There's two things: conditions of probation, because he'll be on probation for a certain period of time, right? And then the other thing is whether he does any jail time or prison time. Now, Michael Cohen went to prison for 36 months. He got a 36-month sentence for this same conduct, for lying to the FBI, for covering things up for Trump. That's what he did. And so Alan Weisselberg went to prison twice for lying in a fraud case and for perjury. Who is he protecting? Trump. Everybody in Trump's orbit seems to go to prison. And I know you're saying some people say, oh, it's rigged, it's a witch hunt, it's the Democrats. It may be political, but you don't go to fucking prison and you don't lose your case if they don't have the facts. So whether it's political or not, who fucking cares? You think Hunter Biden would be prosecuted for that case but for his name? Probably not. Do you think Trump would be prosecuted for this but for who he is? Probably not. But it doesn't fucking matter. If they don't have the facts, they don't have the facts. And in both cases, they had the facts. The prosecution had the facts in both cases. Now, the old adage, is Biden in control. Biden's not in control of anything. This is a state prosecution. Okay, that being said, What's going to happen with Trump? Will he go to prison? I honestly can say I don't know. It's going to be a tough decision for this judge to put a former president in prison. It just will be. But you can't ignore the fact that he's got 34 fucking felony counts. That puts you off the grid in terms of a sentence. A lot of times they have sentencing guidelines, and I'll have to confess I don't know a lot about New York sentencing guidelines, but they talked about him looking at a maximum of 25 years. First of all, he's not going to get 25 years. If he got any time at all, I would say it'd be between 6 and 12 months. That would be my guess. I just can't see him. I mean, this is a crime, but it's sort of a victimless crime, really, when you think about it. Because, I mean, who's hurt by this? Nobody, right? Stormy Daniels got laid. She got paid. Karen McDougal got laid. She got paid. And the doorman, he didn't get laid, but he got paid. And all covering up shit they didn't want to come out. And the timing of it really did matter. So there's also talk, and I read an article yesterday about Samuel Alito had opined in a case a while back about whether or not the supremacy clause would prohibit, if Trump is elected, of the supremacy clause would prohibit him from doing any time. I don't know that that's true. In fact, there's no case law to suggest it's either true or not true. But, and we know that the issue of immunity is up before the Supremes right now, right? So, and there's no way they're going to say that a president is absolutely immune from any kind of prosecution anywhere. That's just not going to happen. And in fact, in 2020, when Trump was fighting Congress trying to get his records, saying that he was immune from the subpoena, the Supreme Court, thanks to John Roberts, who's probably the most sage voice on the Supreme Court, said that a president, what is it? He said a properly tailored criminal subpoena will not normally hamper the performance of the president's constitutional duties. That's what he said. And so they said that you can get those records. So my point is that, he can't pardon himself from a state prosecution. A president cannot pardon Trump from a state prosecution. A governor can. A governor can grant clemency, but they're separate sovereigns. So by that I mean, you got one body of government and another body of government, that being the state and the feds. So, but what impact would 34 felony convictions have on the other counts that he's facing in other jurisdictions? It puts him off the fucking grid for the federal sentencing guidelines. Guidelines go up to like 12 points. .34 is on the edge of that. But and when you get down to Georgia, and then all of a sudden they count all these things as prior criminal history points. You're going to have to make an argument, or Trump is going to have to make an argument, if he's convicted of anything else, that his criminal history is overstated. Because really, the 34 counts, but it's really one case. And it's really three separate incidents. You got three separate non-disclosures, essentially. On three, you got Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, and then the doorman. Those are the three things. So 34 counts represents every document, that was a false business record to cover up some other crime, because that's what he was convicted of. But it really does overstate his criminal history, because prior to that, he's got nothing. So, and look at this judge. Judge Marchand, he was very reluctant to put Trump in jail for contempt. They had the gag order, and and the gag order is common, especially in really high-profile cases. And Trump flouted, his nose at the court. He criticized the court. And you can't have what they call invited error doctrine. And what invited error doctrine means, okay, I made the judge hate me so much that he couldn't be impartial. Well, you can't do that. And that's essentially, I think, what Trump was really trying to do. Hang on, sorry. And that's really essentially what Trump was trying to do. He was trying to get the judge to hate him so much that he would have to recuse himself. But he didn't. And the judge was pretty measured, if you ask me. So he's got a big decision to make. Does he throw Trump in prison or does he not? And, you know, you look to other cases similar to what Trump has been convicted of. And I don't think that people get a lot of prison time for this at all. I mean, even though it's 34 counts, he's not going to be sentenced as other 34 counts. He's going to be sentenced as probably one incident, and my guess is 6 to 12 months. But, you know, this is going to have an impact, a rolling effect on everything else. And so if he goes to jail, where does he go to jail? Rikers Island? Probably Rikers Island. But how does he go there? And where the fuck does where the Secret Service, do they have to go to jail too? I mean, you know, it's a lot of unknowns. I do know that the Secret Service was attempting to make arrangements and coordinate with the court if Trump was going to be taken into custody for contempt. I do know they were coordinating, so I'm sure they're in talks with prison officials if Trump gets sentenced to jail, where he would do his time, how he would do his time, what the role of Secret Service would be at that point. And it's a shit show, honestly. And it's all because of Trump's hubris, honestly. You know, I just don't understand how he doesn't have an ounce of humility. He doesn't have an ounce of fear that, well, maybe he probably does have fear. I you know, you hear from behind the scenes that he's scared shitless to go to jail, and anybody would be, but he sure doesn't show it, does he? Not on the Trump stuff, you know, not anywhere else. So, you know, the sentencing will go like this. They'll have the pre-sentence investigation, and I'm sure both parties will submit a written position paper about what they think the appropriate sentence would be. And there's various things that the court takes into consideration. Age, lack of criminal history, once removed from the actual acts of disclosure, and you know, the things that are done to cover this stuff up. But it also look at aggravating factors like his attitude in court, his attitude out of court, his respect for the law, his you know, his prolific nature of statements he made about the court's family, you know, just all the different, his lack of remorse, his lack of accountability. You know, so you take all that stuff and you weigh it, and then the judge fashions some kind of balancing test. What is in the public interest? What is the best thing for the defendant? And what is the best thing? And how are they perceived among other cases similar to Trump's? So, I mean, in a sentence, you know, like this is not unprecedented. We just recently learned of a guy who in New York had a check cashing scheme, falsifying business records, you know, and he got 3 years conditional discharge after he pled guilty. So it's not unheard of that these things are prosecuted. So it's not like, you know, I mean, and honestly, had Trump just remained a private citizen and kept operating his bankrupt businesses, none of this would be an issue. You know, he probably could have kept doing it. Remember, he did his charity, and his family can't do charities anymore in New York because they use it as a personal piggy bank. Anyway, you know, and I don't want this to be a Trump bashing session, but it is interesting because it's such uncharted territory. We've never had a former president go to prison before, you know, and it's not hard to stay out of prison. Just so you know, it's not fucking hard. You know, I'm 57 years old and I have had no problem staying out of prison. You know, my son Michael behind the camera, he's 27. Fuck, I should know that. He hasn't had any trouble staying out of jail or prison. So, I mean, I'm just saying, we can go down that road or we can not go down that road. And the thing that kills me is the lack of humility with Trump, and the lack of insight as to what he's facing. I would make half these fucking public statements, but he's got to be in the news every fucking day. Every day he's got to be in the news. It's like an addiction with him. And, but as a criminal defense lawyer, you don't want your client saying a goddamn thing. He's a nightmare as a client. When they put Costello on the stand, the only reason they did that is because Trump wanted him on the stand. He did not help his cause one bit. And, you don't do what Trump says, you get fired. And so it's very difficult to do your job around somebody like Trump. And so we'll follow it. Keep watching. And there's a lot of other really cool stuff in the news. We'll probably have some more thug update because there's a lot of shit going on with that. We'll probably do a video over the weekend, like a thug wrapped up, because that is just absolutely a legal shit show. And I just can't even get over what this judge, who's out of fucking control, is doing in that case. And he's really digging himself a hole. So we see you next time on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, our content genius. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever we are. Follow us, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. This is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. I am your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my pearl-handled pistol, cufflinks so graciously gifted to me by Michael Rivers, our former content genius. God rest his soul. Today we're reacting to, now there's no sex in this video, so you can feel free to have your children watch this one, okay? And I'll try to keep the swearing down to a minimum, all right? But we got some stuff going with our federal government that's a little bit on the scary side. According to the Department of Justice, ex-judge Donna Anna County charged with evidence tampering and a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge charged with unlawful obstruction and concealment. So, the Justice Department just the other day announced federal criminal charges in 2 separate cases involving alleged obstruction of federal law enforcement operations and unlawful concealment of individuals residing illegally in the United States. So somebody can be illegal here in the United States or undocumented and be facing legal proceedings. And so a judge may say, okay, we're going to release you on bond, but we want you to come back to court. And you know what? Most people want to come back to court. Why do people come to this country illegally? This is going to be another one of these issues where we're going to have the Trumpster divers just kind of say, oh, you're just a piece of shit. You hate white people. And they're going to have, and then you have the other side. Hey, who's documented? Who's illegal? Nobody says that, come on. All right, fucking calm down. Why do people come to this country anyway? Because most of them, and I've seen quite a few of them, are fleeing violence, fleeing poverty. I mean, come to this. Not everybody who comes into this country is a criminal, okay? In fact, the proportion, I think the studies show that the proportion of people coming to this country illegally that are criminals, although one could argue anybody that enters illegal is a criminal but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about rapists, we're talking about murderers, and sure, some of them are fine people, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Most of the people that come here for opportunity. They come here to work. If we got rid of all the immigrants, you know what happened to our unemployment rate? Americans don't want to do a lot of these jobs. And these employers are having an awful time trying to find people to work. You get an economic haven like the United States, it's going to draw people in. It's simple as that. And why aren't they going after the employers hiring illegal immigrants? You don't see any move for that. If you took that away, you wouldn't have a draw. But let's talk about these 2 judges. So the allegations against Judge Dugan and Judge Cano are serious. No one, this is from the Department of Justice, by the way. No one, least of all a judge, should obstruct law enforcement operations. That's Attorney General Pam Bondi. Doing so imperils the safety of our law enforcement officers and undermines the rule of law. The Department of Justice will continue to follow the facts. No one is above the law. Sanctuary jurisdictions that shield criminal, alien, and endanger American communities. The Justice Department will not stand by as local officials put politics over public safety. Reckless sanctuary city policies create a sanctuary for one class, criminals. Those days are over. Such tough fucking talk. Judge Cano is 68, and Judge Nancy Ann Cano, 68, and Jose Luis Cano, 67, were arrested yesterday for evidence tampering offenses related to federal investigation and prosecution against Christian Ortega Lopez, a Venezuelan national residing unlawfully in the United States and with alleged ties to transnational criminal organization Tres de Aragua. I love how they always say that there's some tie to a gang. And here's what the facts are. Judges, and here's another statement this is from Ryan Ellison, U.S. Attorney for the District of New Mexico. Judges are responsible for upholding our country's laws. It is beyond egregious for a former judge and his wife to engage in evidence tampering on behalf of a suspected Tres de Aragua gang member accused of illegally possessing firearms. The U.S. Attorney's Office is committed to dismantling this foreign terrorist organization by disrupting its criminal operations in New Mexico. And then, according to court documents, Homeland Security Investigations initiated investigation into Ortega Lopez after receiving an anonymous tip that the individual was unlawfully present in the United States. So they're trying to pick him up, right? And that he had weapons, an AR-15 and blah, blah, blah. So on February 28th, 2025, HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, executed 2 federal search warrants in connection with the investigation, resulting in the arrest of Ortega Lopez and multiple associates and the seizure of 4 firearms. He was arrested for illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. 4 firearms to believe in Ortega's possession, along with 3 of his cell phones, were seized during the operation. During this search, Ortega Lopez was permitted to make a cell phone call before being taken to the Doña Ana County Detention Center. He informed agents that a particular phone he wished to use was not among the devices recovered. Video calls from the law enforcement center showed that Nancy Cano holding a black iPhone believed to be Ortega's. Why would she be holding? This is a judge, right? Our judge and his wife. In March 7th call with Ortega Lopez, Nancy Cano used the device to contact a person named Michelle via WhatsApp, then facilitated a FaceTime call between Michelle and Ortega Lopez using her personal phone. Additionally, in an April 20th call, Nancy Cano and Ortega Lopez discussed deleting his Facebook account, a platform where he had previously shared incriminating conduct, including gang affiliations and images with firearms. How fucking stupid do you have to be, honestly? I don't know. This is a judge, right? Hold on. Yeah, Judge Cano. Fucking A. Can't make this up. So, in April 24, they executed a subsequent search warrant at the Cano residence to locate the missing cell phone. During questioning, Jose Cano admitted to destroying Ortega's cell phone and smashing it with a hammer approximately 5 weeks prior, believing it contained incriminating photos and videos of Ortega with firearms. Well, that's called self-snitching right there. Forensic analysis recovered of the phones revealed messages linked to Ortega's criminal activity, including So here's the thing. So Jose is charged with 1 count of tampering with evidence, and Judge Cano is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to tamper with evidence. And if convicted, they could face a maximum of 20 years. Why would you do that? This is a fucking judge. This I don't understand. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. So let's say you're an immigrant and you're sitting in my basement with my grandmother, and the 2 of them are just drinking, tequila, and he wants to find out some immigration news. Geez, what am I deportable? I mean, what's going on? Well, he should go AskALawyer.com, because if you go to AskALawyer.com, you pay $49 and you get all the legal help you need in it for an initial consultation. And you're already a citizen. Don't worry about it. Or, no, this is what you need to do, and I'll refer you to somebody, blah, blah, blah. So it's money well spent if you have a landlord-tenant issue, a criminal issue, civil issue, wills and trust issue, immigration issue, whatever your issue is, go to AskALawyer.com. They have lawyers on standby. And they also have an AI component where you can do your own research, and it's trained on all the 50 states and the federal law. So go to askalawyer.com. Same people that brought you eForms and eSign. They're fantastic sponsors of this channel, and we really highly suggest you go there if you have a legal issue to determine whether or not you either don't have an issue or you need to take the next step. It's money well spent. Askalawyer.com. One of the things that they're really cracking down on is, if you're here illegally, they're rounding people up left and right. So, and they're not listening to the courts. So here's the other one. The one that we were going to originally start just on this Milwaukee one. But now in the Eastern District of Wisconsin, Judge Hannah Dugan, the Justice Department announced today the filing of federal criminal charges against Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, 65 years old, for her alleged interference with federal law enforcement operation and unlawful concealment of an individual subject to arrest. According to court documents, the charges stem from the events occurring on April 18th, just recently, when members of the Milwaukee office of the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement removal operations, they show up to fucking court. And these guys, if they find out when you have court and they just show up, enforcement and removal operations, along with federal partners, FBI, DEA, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, attempted to execute a lawful arrest warrant for Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national previously removed from the United States and recently charged in Milwaukee with multiple counts of domestic abuse and battery. So those are probably misdemeanors. According to court documents, federal agents arrived at the Milwaukee County Courthouse intending to arrest Flores Ruiz in a public hallway following his court appearance before Judge Dugan. Upon learning of the agent's presence in the hallway, Judge Dugan allegedly confronted and ordered the federal agents to leave the courthouse after being made aware of a valid immigration arrest warrant. Dugan told agents they needed a judicial warrant and demanded that they go to the chief judge's office. Once the agents were no longer in the vicinity of her courtroom, Judge Dugan allegedly elected not to conduct a hearing on Flores Ruiz's criminal case, despite the fact that the victims of this offense were present, and instead personally escorted Flores Ruiz and his attorney through the restricted jury door exit and not typically used by defendants or attorneys. This doorway led to a non-public hallway through which Flores Ruiz and his attorney exited the courtroom. According to the affidavit, Judge Dugan's actions directly resulted in Flores Ruiz temporarily avoiding federal custody. He was ultimately arrested outside the courthouse. You had to know the agents were just waiting for him outside. It's just stupid. So she's charged with obstruction of legal proceedings before a department or agency of the United States, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, and concealing a person to prevent arrest, which carries a maximum penalty of 1 year. I don't know why you would do that. So you got two. So one of the things that is scary, it's when, one branch starts going, the executive branch starts going after the judiciary, right? And the crackdown in immigration is palpable right now. It's absolutely palpable. And I don't know what the statistics are, but I know that the percentage of immigrants that are engaged in criminal activity is less than our general population. Let's look at these two cases. These two cases are a little different. On the one hand, you got somebody actively destroying evidence in a criminal case. And that's a fucking judge doing that. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And then in this case, the judge just let the person go through a different exit to try to avoid arrest. She's probably miffed, that they're having this chilling presence in her courthouse and in her courtroom. And I can't say what she did was right or wrong. And I can't even say what she did was illegal or legal, What is really disturbing, when you look at what they're trying to do, they're trying to use this Alien Enemies Act, and which are not subject to judicial review of the removal process. You saw them load all those guys up on that airplane, in violation of the Supreme Court's order. And a district court said, no, bring them back. The Supreme Court said, facilitate this guy's return or take his return. And the Trump administration didn't do it. The Justice Department claims that the Alien Enemies Act allows federal law enforcement officers to enter the houses of suspected gang members without a warrant and remove them from the country without any judicial review. That's ridiculous. You know, the Alien Enemies Act is designed to go after people who we're at war with, you know, not just people who are immigrants and committing crimes. You know, in a March 14th memo obtained by the government, by the Open Government Group Property of the People, Pam Bondi instructs federal law enforcement officers on how to carry out arrests on members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, TDA, which President Trump has declared an alien enemies under the Alien Enemies Act. This is an act that hasn't been used since 1798, and it's supposed to be used in wartime. Not like this. But what does it say? You know, let's talk about the Fourth Amendment is. The Fourth Amendment is the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant. So warrantless entry into your home is per se unreasonable, in other words, illegal, and can only be done so without a warrant under certain circumstances. One is hot pursuit. You can enter somebody's home if you witness a crime and you're on the chase. One can be if there's like a welfare check or, you know, some kind of emergency going on inside the home. There's the other one, the effervescent doctrine. If you're afraid that if there's evidence in the home that's going to dissipate or be destroyed, and so you need to, you know, enter the home. So it's one of the exceptions to the warrant requirement has to be there. Otherwise, the Constitution still fucking applies. Just because Pam Bondi says, you know, well, Donald Trump says we don't need the warrant because we're acting under the Alien Enemies Act. Sorry, I don't think any court is going to uphold that. But arresting these judges is going to have a chilling effect on that. I mean, this judge is in charge of her courtroom, and she can do what she pleases in her courtroom. She can tell the agents, you know, you're not to be in my courtroom or the courthouse. I know what you're here to do. Do it outside. And did she actively conceal this person? No, she said, go through this door. You know, and guess what? They were outside and they got him. So I don't know if that judge did something right or wrong. All I know, it's chilling to start charging these judges with crimes. Now, the ones who destroyed evidence, I don't have any fucking problem with that. That's just stupid. But using this act to all of a sudden say that we don't need a warrant to enter your home, where do we stop? You know, the Republicans have always been less government, you know, more for rights, but it's really rights for the corporations, right? It's not for the rights of the people. I mean, when you look at what and I'm a Democrat, I'm not going to hide that, but and I don't agree with all the things that the Democrats do either. I'm actually more of an independent, but to say that you don't need a warrant to enter somebody's home at this point, just because you're acting on the 1798 law that hasn't been used since then, give me a fucking break. That's a slippery slope. What is the ramifications of this kind of thing? You know, I mean, they don't enter somebody's home like this in regular clothes generally. I mean in uniform. It's usually plain clothes, and it's usually with guns pointed at you. And you see somebody do this, how long before somebody is killed during this? You know, they're going to trample on, you know, the Republicans are supposed to be for your rights. They're supposed to be for less government. And the overreach here by the government is just absolute. Imagine if the Democrats were doing this, what the Republicans would say. You know, I mean, I think it's wrong no matter who's doing it. When you really take a hard look at what this administration is doing with immigration, they're casting a really wide net, and innocent people are getting wrapped up in it. You know, we see that the one guy that they deported to El Salvador, who was going through the immigration process and who had a district court order not to be removed. They don't fucking care. You know, I mean, it's an issue when you know, you take away the judiciary. There's no longer a check on the executive branch. And you got the Congress, which is just a rubber stamp for the administration. You know, we have the checks and balances for a reason. And, you know, something's got to give here somewhere. But I can't tell you how many. I had a guy show up for trial. You know, he was here legally, but he was going through. He wasn't a citizen yet. We show up for trial on a felony, and they take him away, and send him back to his country. Doesn't even give him a chance to answer the charges. And we would have won his case, by the way. We absolutely would have won his case. I don't say that about a lot of cases, but we would have won his case. They're denying due process. They think they can enter your home, you know, and they've been wrong on a number of occasions. They just put a professor, I think she's a professor, a student, grad student, in custody because of her association with things she said about Gaza. Nothing else, just her own views. Are we in the McCarthy era? You know, where you can be jailed for your views? You can be deported because you think a certain way? It's chilling. It's absolutely chilling. And jailing and charging the judiciary with the crime is also chilling. Now, I can understand when you're destroying evidence. That's probably fucking bad. I don't have any problem with that one. I do have a little bit of an issue with the other one. All she did was let him go out of a different exit. That's all she did. She didn't conceal the person, you know, and maybe there was more of a commotion in her courtroom. And she says, why don't you guys leave out this way because of all the hubbub that just went on? That certainly could have been. And so my heart goes out to her. I mean, think about, you know, you're a judge. You put people in jail. You're not supposed to go to jail. So that's our reaction to the two judges that have been charged by the Department of Justice with crimes going anywhere from a 22-year maximum to a 5-year maximum. We'll follow these cases, but you have to assert your rights. Everybody shows up to your house, guess what? No, you do not have permission to search my house. Don't shoot at them because we're going to do that one too. They showed up to somebody else's house trying to execute a search warrant and didn't show up with uniforms on, and they got shot at and somebody died. So it's just so fucking dangerous. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe to Instagram, subscribe to this channel because we need you. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and go to clrbrucerivers.com. And make sure you give a little love to askalawyer.com. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.